There have been several important stories told over these last days in the context of allowing us to discover what qualities there are that are present and made manifest when we've arrived at that place where we've arrived and yet we're perpetually becoming, or that we're no longer a seeker and yet life unfolds in front of us, or that we're perpetually still and yet remain in the movement of life. What are those qualities that arise when these have been reconciled? Let's see what this story brings up for us today. It's that story of Sheikh Hamid. Now, Sheikh Hamid was the leader of a large Bedouin tribe of wandering nomads. But one day, when he was returning from a pilgrimage, accompanied by the son of his sister, named Ali, Sheikh Hamid was regaling Ali with a story to pass the long hours riding across the desert. But in the course of this story, Ali saw something glinting in the sand ahead of them, but not wanting to be impolite or disrespectful to his uncle, he remained silent, but merely lowered his lance into the sand so that it made a furrow from that point on. When they arrived back at their tent city, Sheikh Hamid went off to rest, but Ali went to his family and said, "If anyone is asking for me, tell them that I'm resting." And he immediately turned his camel around and followed the furrow that led him back to the shining object in the sand. When he picked it up, he found that it was an amulet of great beauty, filigreed in gold. So he rode back to the tent city, and when he arrived there, his family said, Sheikh Hamid has been looking for you." So Ali went off to Sheikh Hamid's tent, where he was sitting with a group of other men smoking the hubble-bubble pipe. And Ali threw the amulet in his uncle's lap. And when Sheikh Hamid picked it up and saw the beauty of its workmanship, he said, "Oh, this is made by a great artisan and can only be owned by a person of great refinement." But then his interest was piqued. He wanted to know who it was that owned such a fine object. So, of course, realizing that it was the adornment of a woman, he called the old woman who was the midwife of his tribe, and he sent her on the task of finding out who owned this object. So the old woman went off, and she went from tribe to tribe, tent city to tent city, asking who owned this. And finally she came to a large encampment of black tents, obviously a very large and rich tribe. And when she was allowed to enter the women's quarters, she again asked the question, showing the amulet. And the daughter of the sheikh of that Bedouin tribe came forth, a beautiful maiden alabaster skin and long black hair, shining eyes. And she silently went over to a wooden chest, and she took out what was a twin of the amulet that the old woman held, except that this amulet was not made of gold, but of silver. So, in thanking the old woman for finding the amulet, the young woman said, "For your graciousness in returning this amulet to me, take them both to your sheikh." So the old midwife took the beautiful object in gold and the beautiful twin object in silver, and took them back to Sheikh Hamid. When he obtained these two objects, he said, "Not only is this woman, this maiden, of great refinement, but she has a great heart. I would want her for my bride." So immediately taking an entourage of camels laden with gifts, he set off to the tent city from which the amulets came. When he arrived, there were goats killed, there were sheep killed, and great feasting took place, as is the habit of these hospitable people. And 3 days and 3 nights were spent in festivities. But after those days and nights, the sheikh of that city asked Sheikh Hamid, "What is the purpose of your visit?" And so Sheikh Hamid said, "I would like to take the owner of these amulets as my bride." Well, the sheikh said, "The maiden who owned these amulets is my daughter and is very dear to me, but I give you her hand in marriage. Take her." And so the maiden was sent off with Sheikh Hamid in the company of a servant and lots of wedding gifts. And they went back to the tent city of Sheikh Hamid. The bride was being prepared for the wedding, and Sheikh Hamid, who was wearing the marriage cloak, turned to Ali, and taking off the marriage cloak, he placed it around Ali's shoulders, and he said, "This maiden is your bride. You are the one who found the amulet." Ali said to his uncle, "But no, she is yours." But Sheikh Hamid insisted, and he said, "Go now to the marriage wedding tent and claim your bride." But as Ali was walking towards the tent, a stranger, a young man, came forth and fell at Ali's feet. He thought that this man wearing the marriage cloak was Sheikh Hamid. But the young man said, I beg you, this maiden was betrothed to me when we were children, and we are deeply in love." Ali looked at this young man, and without a word, he took off the marriage cloak and placed it around the shoulders of the young man, and he said, Go to the wedding tent and claim your bride." As Ali was walking back to his tent, Sheikh Ahmed came out and seeing him said, "Oh, are the marriage festivities over?" Because Ali was wearing his ordinary garb. And Ali told him the story. Sheikh Hamid said, "Ah, this is the quality of a truly noble man." And he prepared several camels laden with gifts and sent the young man, now wedded to his childhood, betrothed, and sent them on their way back to the great tent city of the other sheikh. So the question that arises is, and if we look at the meaning of the word noble, the three main meanings of noble are: one, to be of noble birth, from a noble lineage. The second is to have noble qualities. And the third, strangely, is related to chemistry. A chemistry that is called noble is inert. It does not react. So, as was asked the other day, what does this mean for us? In our recognition that we're no longer seekers, and yet life continues to unfold for us, that we're still and present, and yet we're perpetually in the movement of existence. What does it mean for us when these two are united? What does the word noble mean for you? Claiming it, recognizing it. Noble. What is this nobility that describes this state of reconciliation, of the movement of life, and where we find ourselves in every moment, present, now, still, open, receptive, empty, available.
I was meditating on this because this is last Tuesday's story went in quite deep in me, and then I thought it's really like arrived is like arrived home, and like we found our home or ourselves, but becoming is becoming.
Yes.
So it's like a continuity of life movement,
Yes.
and we take over by life. So it's no control, and we have to respond moment to moment therefore the word comes responsibility.
Yes.
That's what I...
Yes. It's a very profound realization, isn't it? And when we claim it, something happens, doesn't it?
Yes.
Something happens for us.
Well, I can relate to the non-reacting. Just for a simple little story from Ben, because he rang the other day, and the other night he'd already had a few red wines, and he's just edging for an argument. You know, he's just edging for one. He's digging about Claire. He's digging. And I just kept saying, "Oh, really? So that kind of made him even madder." Oh, really? Is that how it is? You know. And then he'd change and go back to like being, okay, but he'd still have to grab something that he thought would upset me. So it would even go to Mum and Dad, because it just went on, and then he goes, "Oh, well, I better go and have another red wine then, bet mine." Okay. I get off the phone, I said, "Whoa, Ben was in a mood." Whereas before, I would be trying to work it out with him, or, trying to do something, or I'd get off the phone and I'd be all like, he so bugs me sometimes. I just said, "Hang on, he was in the mood." It just went on. So that's how I can relate to that story with not reacting.
That's right.
And I can see just through that how I have changed.
Yes. We do.
Yeah. So I can claim it.
We can, and we need to. We need to acknowledge and claim within ourselves. Yes. Because there's no point of arrival, is there? Did the heavens open up and the angels come and blow their trumpets and saying you've arrived?